But you will need to know how to make your own scatter plot, which is how to take a list of data and plot them as X's and Y's. Just basically plotting them as points. Be careful, scatter plots mean do not connect the dots. Just draw a bunch of points. Do not connect the dots. So be careful. The other thing you might see is what's called a time series chart. A time series chart is just looking at a graph of information over time. Notice that the time series chart is similar to a polygon. We do play connect the dots, but you don't bring them back down to 0 at the end like the polygon. So we do just connect the dots, but nothing beyond that. Okay. So let's take a look at some of the graphs I would expect you to know how to make. Well, here's the first one. Construct a frequency polygon. Okay, well, frequency polygon, I always think of the frequency polygon as connect the dots and bring the beginnings and ends back down to 0. So before I do anything, I need to have representative values to make my points. Well, remember, with a polygon, you have to find the midpoints. You cannot use boundaries. So we actually did this exact frequency distribution before, and how you find the midpoints is you take at least for the first class, you'll add them up, the 110 and the 119, and divide by 2, and you get 114.5. And you can keep on doing this for all the classes, or you can just find the class width, which going from one class, the 110 to 120, means you added 10. So that's how you get your next midpoint. Add 10, 124.5, 134.5, and keep on going, adding 10 until you get to the very last class, which will be 199.5. So let's go ahead and put those along our x-axis. So that would be our 114.5, our 124.5, our 134.5, so 144.5, 154.5, 164.5, 174.5, 184.5, and 194.5. And so what we'll do is we're going to start out just by plotting our points after we get our frequency along the y-axis. Remember, frequencies go up to about 14, so we'll do 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. And we're going to label these as my frequencies. And let's plot some points here. That's what a frequency polygon is at least going to start with us doing. So at the first class, we have a frequency of 2. So the 114.5 should have a point at 2. The second class also has a frequency of 2, so we'll draw a point at 2 as well. The third class had a frequency of 5, so between 6 and 4. And next one had a frequency of 9, so between 8 and 9. Next one had a frequency of 13, so between 12 and 14. Next one is right around 8. Next one is right around 6. And last two are right at 2. And remember, a polygon says play connect the dots. And then be careful, the really special thing about polygons is that we have to bring the ends back down to 0. And that is kind of the idea behind our frequency polygon. The only difference would be if they wanted a relative frequency polygon instead of a frequency polygon, is we'd be finding the relative frequencies and putting them on the y-axis instead. But it would actually still end up being the exact same shape. Take a look at this next example. We've got a